A mini lecture on the English Reformation and Henry VIII. Whilst things were going on in the continent, the German Reformation, the Reformation in Zurich, the Reformation in Geneva, word of this made its way over to the British Isles. And King Henry VIII learns of a man called Martin Luther. Remember Diet of Worms, 1521. Henry VIII, we're talking in the 1530s now. And one thing that Henry VIII did is he wrote a treatise against Martin Luther, which earned him the title from the Pope, Defender of the Faith, which is actually still the title of the monarch in this country, Defender of the Faith. Well, not long after this, even though he's in the Pope's favor, he decides to ask the Pope if he can get a divorce from his wife, Catherine of Aragon, because Catherine did not produce him with a male heir. He had 2 daughters, but he hasn't had a son. In order for his dynasty to continue, he needs a son. So he asked the Pope for a divorce, and the Pope says, I can't do this. Now you need to understand that the Pope needed the support of the nobility in Spain. The nobility in Spain was related to Catherine of Aragon, Henry VIII's wife. So of course the Pope can't do anything about this. His hands are tied. So Henry VIII goes to his nearest advisor, Thomas Cromwell. And he asked Thomas Cromwell if he can find out a way of getting around this. And so where does Thomas Cromwell go? He goes to the Bible. And in the Bible, in Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 21, look it up, it talks about the fact that you cannot marry your brother's wife. Well, that's exactly what Henry VIII had done. His brother, Prince Arthur, passed away, and so he married his brother's wife, Catherine. Well, that means their marriage is invalid, and therefore he can get an annulment, and he doesn't have to get a divorce. And so that's what happened. He ended up annulling his marriage with Catherine of Aragon in order to continue attempt to continue his dynasty in England. Now this was a catalyst that began to make Henry and the nobility or his advisors in England to start thinking about who really has authority in these islands. Now the Pope lives in Rome, and that's a long ways away, and we're even a English Channel away from the continent. So we should have authority in our own lands, shouldn't we? We should have authority over what's being said and done in the church. So in 1534, the Supremacy Act was passed by Parliament, which claimed that Henry VIII, or the monarch thereafter, was the supreme head of the church in England. So the church in England, which had been Catholic for centuries, soon became the Church of England. That's Henry VIII, just the very beginnings. Have a read of the notes to learn a bit more.